Okay, so we are back to the Nutri tutorials. Here we make complex topics very simple and easier for understanding. Okay, so today what we are going to do is we are basically going to solve tutorial questions, what we call the likely examinable questions that might come in your exams. So without much time I waste, so as I stated, the solving of tutorial questions. So I'm starting with our question 1. So with the question 1, so our question 1 is on demand and supply. So with the question 1 we have QD is given as 1200 minus 4px, and quantity supplied is given as 600 plus 6px. Okay, I'll try and attach the question to the video so that you can compare to get easy understanding. So we have a demand function here, we also have a supply function. The first part of the question, which is the A part, is stating that determine the equilibrium price and quantity. So A, equilibrium price and quantity. Now, when you're asked to find equilibrium price and quantity, there's a condition we use. So the condition states that our quantity demanded should be equal to quantity supplied. This is the demand condition. So QD, that's what we have here. That's 1200 minus 4px. QS is what we also have here. 600 plus 6px. What then do? We group like them because we have px in common. So this is 1200. This is 600. I'll move it to the left hand side, becoming minus 600. This side is 6px. This is minus 4px. You move it to the right, becoming positive 4px. This gives us 10px. 600 minus this would give us 600 again. We are finding for px. So we divide both sides by the coefficient of px, which is 10. So I have this. So px is equal to 10 is equal to 100. Sorry, 10 will divide 600, 60, sorry about that. So 10 times 60 would give us 600. That's what we have here. So this becomes our equilibrium price. So now, we need the equilibrium quantity. Now, in finding the equilibrium quantity, you can pick any of the functions, either the demand or the supply function. But most appropriately, we use the supply function. So we have 600 here. This is plus 6px. And px, we had 60 from this side. So this is 60. So I have 600 here, plus 6. This is 60. px, there's px, and px is 60 here. So we use the calculator to do it. So 600 plus 6 times 60 would give us 960. So we have QS to be equal to 960. Now, there's our equilibrium quantity, there's our equilibrium what? Price. But this is the concept. How would I be able to tell, or how would I be able to get the understanding that what I'm actually doing is what? The correct thing. So what then do we do? This is what we do. This is supply. So to prove whether my answer is correct, I'll also try the same price with the demand function. So I have QD here. This is 1200. This is minus 4px. So the px was 60. So I have QD here. This is 1200 minus 4. Why I see px, I fix 60. So I have 60 here. So this is QD. So 1200 minus 4 times 60 would give us 960. So as you can see from this side, it's the same thing. So this is what's correct. In a situation whereby this is 960, this is 860, it's totally wrong. It needs to give you the same quantity. That's the concept. So let's move to the B part of the question. So the B part of the question states that the B part of the question. What is the effect? What is the effect of a price control of 50 Ghana cedis? What is the effect of a price control of 50 Ghana cedis? So now, let me explain what we mean by what? Price control. I'm using it to cover the topic demand and supply as well. So now, with this, we call it the pricing policy or price control measures. So the first one, we have price ceiling, what we call the maximum price control. Two, the second one is what we call the price floor, what we call the minimum price control. Now, those are the only two price control measures we have. We have price ceiling, which is maximum price control. We have price floor, which is what? Minimum what? Price control. Now, the effect of this price ceiling, is what we call the shortage. The effect of this price floor is what we call the surplus. Now, this is an illustration of what we have here. So this is demand, this is supply. Where they are meeting is what we call the equilibrium point. This side is what we call the equilibrium quantity. This is what we call the equilibrium price. Now, let's make an assumption. This is 10 cedis. This is 20 units. If you are given a price of 8 cedis, it will definitely fall below this 10 cedis. So let's assume this is the 8 cedis. Now, as you can see, it falls below 10 cedis. Now, so let's apply those two names in this illustration. Now, in a situation whereby we have a sealed price, the sealed price is 10 cedis. Once you sell below the 10 cedis, that results in what? A shortage, because you are not going to get a 10, you are now getting 8. So there had been a shortage of what? 2 cedis. That's the concept. So once you sell below the initial equilibrium price, it results in shortage. Once you sell above the initial price, which is 10 cedis. So now let's assume you are selling for 15 cedis. It's above 10 cedis. So once you sell above the initial price, that is what we call the surplus. Once you sell below the initial price, that is what we call the shortage. So this is the whole concept. So we are going to apply this understanding to this particular question. That's the concept. So I have this here. This is demand. This is supply. So let me clean this side. So demand, supply, where they are meeting, equilibrium point. So equilibrium quantity, we had 960. Equilibrium price, we had 60 cedis. The stipulated price in the question was given as what? 50 cedis, which is below 60. So meaning we have the 50 cedis here. So this is our 50 cedis. So per the illustration I made earlier here at the right side of the board, indicates that once it falls below the actual price, it's what? Price ceiling. And price ceiling results in what? Shortage. So they are saying, what is the effect of a price control of 50 cedis? So the effect of this 50 cedis is what? It's going to result in a shortage. But then, to make things easier or for easy clarity, what we do is you would have to calculate the shortage amount. The concept is it's falling below this, so I know it to be what? Shortage. But what is the shortage amount? So that is what I'm going to explain here, how we do it. So now we know it's falling below 60, so this is shortage. So to calculate the shortage amount, this is what we do. This is the 50 cedis. It's with this curve. Which curve is this? That's the supply curve. So I'll pick my supply curve. Let me do it here. So my supply curve, it was 600 plus 6px. So now px was giving us 50 cedis. So this is 50. So this is qs. This is 600 plus 6 times 50. So let's use the calculator. 600 plus 6 times 50 would give us 900. So I have 900 here. This side. Now, with this particular side, to which curve is it touching? It's touching the demand curve. So I'll pick the demand curve as well. So QD is equal to 1200 minus 4px, where the px was given us 50 in the question. So QD is equal to 1200 minus 4 times 50. So QD is equal to, so 1200 minus 4 times 50. I'm having 1000. I have 1000 here. There's the demand function. There's it. 1200 minus 4px. And we're giving 50 cedis. So you fix it in the demand function per the illustration I made here. So you could see that 900. There's it. It's falling below the side. There's it. 900. And on the demand, I had what? 1000. 1000 is greater than this. This is 1000. So now, we've already identified the answer to be what? Shortage. You could end here, shortage. The price effect is what? Shortage. But we have a way to calculate the shortage amount. That's what I'm illustrating here. So this is how we do it. In a situation where demand outweighs supply, there's a shortage. If supply outweighs demand, then there's a surplus. What I'm saying is, if demand is greater than supply, there's a shortage. If supply is greater than demand, then there's what? A surplus. So from what we are seeing here, demand is greater than this. So we have shortage. So the shortage amount is QD minus QS. So QD, I have QD to be 1000 here, minus QS, which is 900. So we have 1000 minus 900, which will give us 100. So the shortage amount is what? 100. So what is the effect of a price control of 50 cedis? So the effect of the price control is what? Shortage. And what is the shortage amount? 100 cedis. So this is how we solve it. So this is the B part of the question. Let me write our answers down so that I can clean this side of the question. So this side of the solution. So our price, we had 60. Quantity, we had 960. I want to clean that side, so I'm putting down the answers here. So the next question. Question C. What is the effect of a price control of 100 cedis? So C. What is the effect of a price control of 100 cedis? So we have it this way. This is quantity. This is price. This is my demand function. This is my supply function. Where they are meeting is what we call the equilibrium point. So my equilibrium price from the previous answer was 60. My quantity was 960. Yes. Now we have what? 100 cedis, or we've been given 100 cedis, which is below 60, which is above 60. So we have it here like this. Now once it's above this, it results in what we call the surplus. I explained it earlier. So now we want to also, the effect is what? Surplus. But we also want to find the surplus amount. So from this side, this curve, that's the demand curve. So I also pick the demand curve. So that's 1,200 minus 4px. Px was given as 100. So this is QD. This is 1,200 minus 4 times 100. So QD is equal to 1,200 minus 4 times 100. We have 800. So this is 800. Now, it's also touching the supply curve. So I'll pick the supply curve. QS is equal to, I have 600 plus 6 px. Px was given as 100. So QS is equal to 600 plus 6 times 100. So QS is equal to, I have 600 plus 6 times 100, which is giving me 1,200. So now, from this concept, supply outweighs demand. What I mean is, supply is greater than demand. If demand is greater than supply, then there's a shortage. But if supply outweighs demand, then there's what? A surplus. So now, we calculate the surplus amount. So the surplus amount is QS minus QD, where QS was 1,200. So we have 1,200 minus QD was 800. So 1,200 minus 800 would give us 400. So this is the surplus amount. This is the shortage amount. So that's how we solve the C question. So the D part of the question states that suppose the government imposes a tax to the tune of 30 Ghana cedis on cake soap. Determine the new equilibrium price and quantity. Suppose there is an imposed tax of 30 cedis. Determine the new equilibrium price and what? Quantity. So that's D. So tax imposed. So with the tax imposed, so this is tax. We're given 30 Ghana cedis. Now, whenever there is tax imposed or there is subsidy granted, they both affect the supply function. But the way they affect the supply function differs. That's the concept. Either tax or that of the subsidy, they are going to affect the supply function. But the way they affect it differs. With tax we subtract, with subsidy we add. Another name for tax that can be used in the question is what we call the VAT, value added tax. Now, with a subsidy too, we have situations whereby in the question, it wouldn't be indicated as subsidy, but it will be stated as tax cuts, tax holiday, tax relief. It's the same as subsidy. We add it. Subsidy is the same as what we call the tax cuts. It's also the same as what we call the tax relief. It's also the same as what we call the tax holiday. What it means is you are given an exemption as to the tax you are supposed to pay, which means we are cutting off the tax cut, tax relief. You are given exemptions as to the tax you are supposed to pay. So you are no more paying tax. So therefore you are enjoying what? A subsidy. So with everything we have here, we add. Tax is the same as VAT, value added tax. With this we subtract. That is the concept. But they both affect what? The supply function. That's the concept. So let's stick to what we are solving. We're giving tax. So let me clean this. So we know it affects our supply function. So we have 600 plus 6px. So what we do is, in place of px, or when we see px, we substitute px minus t. So my new function, we have QS here. This is 600 plus 6. Open bracket. In place of this px, we fix this. So this is px minus t. Now the t, which is the tax, was given as 30 cedis in the question. This is 30. So this is QS. This is 600 plus 6. This is px minus the t was given as 30. So this is the 30. So I have QS here. This is 600. This time this would give us 6px. 6 times negative 30 or minus 30 would give us minus 180. So QS is equal to, I have 6px. So 600 minus 180, 600 minus 180 would give us 420. So positive 420. So this is our new supply function as a result of tax. But then, if you don't take care, you might have issues in calculating the new equilibrium price and quantity. Why am I saying that? Because this is KOS, the new one we just solved is KOS. The one that was given in the question 2 was what? KOS. So how do we differentiate it? With the new one, just add an N, making it new quantity supply. This is what? Old quantity supply. That's the concept. So let me clean this. So we are finding new equilibrium price and quantity. So new equilibrium price and quantity. So with the new equilibrium price and quantity, our new supply function is equal to our old demand function. So our new supply function is this. 6px plus 420 is equal to QDS 1200 minus 4px. So we group like terms. This is 6px. This is minus 4px. You move it here. Plus 4px. I have 1200. This is 420. Move to the right. Minus 420. This gives us 10px. So we have 1200 minus 420. It gives us 780. So I have 10px is equal to 780. I'm finding for px. Divide both sides by the coefficient of px, which is 10. So px is equal to, so I have 780 divided by 10, which gives me 78 Ghana cedis. Now this is price. Remember the previous one was price, so I just add an N to it to make it the new equilibrium price as a result of tax. So now I need my new equilibrium quantity. So with the new equilibrium quantity, you pick either the new supply function or the old demand function. So I have 6px plus 420, where px is the 78. So I have NQS here. This is 6. This is 78. This is plus. This is 420. This is NQS. So 6 times 78 plus 420 would give us 888. Let's also try with the demand and see if it's going to be the same. If they are not the same, we are wrong. There's no doubt about that. So QD, the demand function was 1200 minus 4px, where px was 78. So QD, this is 1200 minus 4 times 78. So QD is equal to, this is 1200 minus 4 times 78. That would give us the same thing. So as you can see, they are the same thing. So we are done with the D part of the question. So the E part of the question, let me clean this. So the E part of the question, so since I'm about to clean this, let me write it. Our new price, we had 78. Our new quantity, we had 888. So that I can clean this. So with the E part of the question, indicate the share of tax. Indicate the share of tax between the consumer and producer. So indicate the share of tax between the consumer and the producer. Okay, so with this question, a different way this question can be asked is, who pays the tax? Take note of this. It's very critical of this. Who pays the tax? A different way this question can still be asked is, calculate the agent's share of tax. Who are the agents here? Producer and consumer. Perfect. That's it. So agent share of tax is the same as who pays the tax, and it also correlates with the statement here, indicate the share of tax between the consumer and the producer. So the first thing we do is consumer's share of tax. So consumer share of tax, the formula is, it's your new equilibrium price minus your old equilibrium price. So our new equilibrium price was 78 cedis, and our old equilibrium price was 60 cedis. So we have 78 minus 60. We have 18 cedis here. So there's our consumer's share of tax. So we move to our producer's share of tax. So with the producer's share of tax, it's the tax that was given to you in the question, what we call tax in question, minus your consumer's share of tax. So the tax in question, we have the tax that was given in the question was, let me check the question. The tax in question was 30 cedis. So I have 30 cedis minus consumer share of tax 18 cedis. So 30 minus 18 gives us 12. So this is producer share of tax. This is what? Or this is the tax that will be borne by the producer. That's borne. Not this one. This particular one. So the tax will be borne by what? The producer. Which is, the producer will be paying 12 cedis. And the consumer will be paying what? 18 Ghana cedis. Now, there's one trick about this agent share of tax. Once you are done with the consumer share of tax and out of the producer share of tax, when you add the final answers, this one, when you add the final answers, they should sum up to the tax in the question. If you don't get it, you are wrong. So 18 plus 12 should give us the 30 in the question. If you don't get the 30, you're automatically wrong. So 18 plus 12, that's 30. So the calculation is correct. It's perfect. That's it. So let's check the F. I'll attach the question to the video, so don't worry about that. So F, determine the tax generated by government. So tax generated by government. The formula is tax times new equilibrium quantity. So the tax in question is 30 cedis times the new equilibrium quantity. The new equilibrium quantity is the new quantity you had as a result of tax. So this was our new equilibrium quantity, so times 888. So 30 times 888. So we have 26,640. So this is the F part of the question. So this is how we solve this particular tutorial question. So we move on to a different question.